Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you another sponsored match. This is a very special one. This is called an Ultimate Battle. So just to make that clear for people that don't know what an Ultimate Battle is, this is a Korean kind of show match format where you play 9 maps and all of them get played out no matter what. Like, you could literally have someone go 9-0 in the match, and of course that would be very painful for their opponent, but you get to see all the maps, which makes it a very interesting series to see how people react to each other. So yeah, that's what we're going to be seeing here. No idea what the score is going to be, but there are going to be 9 games between this man right here in the bottom right, one of the stronger up-and-coming Protoss players. It is Motive, and of course his opponent. I bet you could have guessed it. It's gonna be Scan. Big thank you to Scan, helping me fill in between the Star Leagues and everything with some of these awesome show matches. So big cheers to him there. Okay, the map is going to be Largo. These guys talking up quite a storm, a 4-player map. And fuck, I gotta pause. Yes, you can have a snack, baby. Can you close my door right there? Huh? Oh, one more snack? Yes, you can have a snack. Can you close this door? Thank you. Yeah, Dad is working right now. Thank you, baby. All right. Please edit that out with the pause and everything. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, so you know, as far as prediction here, I would definitely say Motive is a bit favored. You can see that talking about me a little bit, because I am funding some of these matches for people to get some of these cool replays for the scene to see, to be able to watch. Now, okay, we have Motive. Looks like he's going to be going for a Nexus first, and it happens to be cross spawn, which makes Nexus first much better than any other position, right? Like, it looks like Scan is going for a factory expansion build. And generally in cross spawns, you can't punish the Nexus first. The travel distance for the Marines, Vultures, and SCVs that you would normally punish a Nexus first with is going to be a little bit too long. It takes so long to rally down. Think about it, right? Like, if it's an extra 7 or 8 seconds, every single Marine is coming in an extra 7 to 8 seconds late, and that's just not going to be something that you're able to do. At very high levels, when you see busts against Nexuses, it's like a very close margin that you're busting by. So yeah, that generally ends up not working. So Nexus first. Also, you're oftentimes with the factory expand going to scout it last, because a lot of times you go end scout. We'll see if Scan's going to do that here. It does look that way, the way the SCV is veering to the side. And the reason why you do this end scout, and the reason why it's called end, is because, here, watch the mini map in the bottom left. He goes, you scout over and then down and then over. So it's like the shape of an N, or like, let's say that you were here, right? You'd go like this. So it's like literally an end at that point. But the reason that you scout like that, there's 2 pieces. First off, if they're going Nexus first in a close spawn, you've scouted both of those locations first, and you can see the time that you get here, your factory isn't done. So you haven't actually made a command center or anything like that. You haven't committed any which way. So you get to see that in time. The second reason is if they go for a Zealot first from cross spawn and are sending it across the map, your SCV actually goes through the center at the same time as the Zealot normally. I mean, there can be slight timing variations where you will miss that, but a lot of the times you'll see that Zealot. So a very useful scout, but it's like that scout, you get punished a little bit when you see Nexus first, right? Look here, he's already got his Vulture almost done. He's started his command center, but the Nexus is already done here for Motive. Motive in very good shape when you look at that. When you look at like the way that these 2 builds have lined up against each other. Now, Scan has his SCV inside, so that's really nice. He wants to keep it alive as long as possible. Does take a Zealot hit, so that's a little bit painful. Doesn't look like he's going to get too much done. He does get to see the range upgrade has been started, which you're always going to do when the SCV's in there, even if you're about to cancel it. So at least some info. Also, that will allow him to get in with the Vulture. Ooh, misses some shots there, unfortunately. Oh, my God. Yeah, so he shot 5 times and killed 0 probes. That's pretty painful. You can see 4 are missing shields, and then, yeah, 1 shot just totally missed. So, oops. Oh well. That's like the best you can do basically if you do go for a Vulture expand and they are cross spawn Nexus first. Is you kind of hope to get in with your Vulture and kill a probe or 2, which helps, but you can see the huge difference in workers right now, right? This finally finishes 30 to 22 was our number. So up 8 workers with this opener, which is gigantic. Normally, you'll see the worker counts very, very close, right? Normally, the worker counts are within 3 to 4 of each other, depending on the openers and, you know, the early game, what's happening. Did you lose a scout? That type of thing. So that additional 4 probes or so over like the maximum that you would ever be down it's pretty significant, like an 8 probe advantage. Now the mines going up from scan, throwing down these mines for any units that are trying to walk across the map, a lot being thrown down. This is kind of the nice thing, I guess, about playing against a Nexus first is their tech is going to be a little bit slower, so you do get to put a bunch of mines out. You don't have to make siege tanks early on unless they like literally rally across the map at you like in a very stupid way where they might run into mines. Occasionally you can get in trouble for that, but Scan is going for a dropship off of the Vultures, so he's kind of got a bit of a containment up. Nothing can get to him. He's got all these Vultures that aren't going to do too much for him against a defensive Protoss, but maybe he can drop them off and get that damage then. He does have that speed upgrade on the way. Gets a decent scout of this 3rd Nexus also. And yeah, that's pretty cool, right? Like, I think that Scan has done the best that he can with this opener. Getting the armory as well, so getting ready to just kind of power up, get his upgrades, get everything going. I'll be interested to see how quickly he makes a 3rd command center. I think he's just going to add additional factories and macro off 2 base for a while, because I don't think there's any chance he can really take a 3rd and hold on. Okay, here we go. The drop coming in. This is such an important moment of this game right now. Let's see how much damage can be dealt. Drops 2 Vultures off here in the natural. This will force the probes to run away. 4 Dragoons in the main base. Going to punish this dropship very, very quickly indeed. I don't know how that just happened. He, like, missed a shot on that Vulture. But it looks like he will end up killing a few probes at least. And look at that. Getting actually quite a few at the natural. Hey, this is actually working out really well for Scan. Look at that. He's actually taken the worker advantage at this point by 3 workers. So that drop was very successful. Don't forget, he did lose 4 Vultures. He did end up losing the dropship, and those are, you know, those are investments. Those don't mean nothing, but definitely a very successful drop, I would say. Now, that being said, a lot of times you'll see Protoss players counter dropship tech with Stargates for carriers, and obviously cross-spawn Nexus first into carrier is considered one of the strongest builds, if not the strongest build in the game. Just because the travel distance for Terran to get across and do a timing push is very, very hard, and Protoss already has that edge from the quick Nexus. So this is a great follow-up from Motive, but Scan did do a lot of damage. Unfortunately for him, we don't see an academy, right? So he doesn't have any real way to scout what's occurring across the map. He is going up to 5 facts, so that's good for him. The one thing I gotta say that would just completely not be useful at all is taking a 3rd base at this mineral only expansion. Just completely useless against a quick carrier build. You definitely would prefer to do a 2-base timing attack, or of course expand to a gas base so you can produce more Goliaths. Now, all that being said, Vulture's coming down and gonna try to get some harassment going. Academy just started up, I can see on the production tab here for Scan. So very, very important that he gets that up, but the carriers are already gonna be out by the time he gets to Scan. It's about a minute before he can actually throw down any of those scans and see what's up. And, like, I mean, we don't know where he's gonna scan. Probably this will be one location. Seeing the spinning core will tell him everything he needs to know. Well, other than the amount of carriers already out. But it's going to be a scary moment for him. Science facility on the way. We're up on 5 facts still. Let's take a look at Motive's production. 4 Gate Goon, 3 more gates on the way, and Citadel is going to be what he wants to add next. That's kind of like the final piece to the carrier rush puzzle. You stay on Goon Observer for quite some time, or Reaver if you went for that, And after your carriers start popping out, you generally go into Zealot legs and then start to reinforce your army with those Zealots. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on when he is going to get that leg upgrade. It is so crucial for this army. All right, let's take a look. Also, the worker count pretty even right now. Obviously, the third base giving much more income to Motive. The comm stats are down. We haven't heard scans yet. First two carriers are out. And there's the first scan. He knows. Okay, so he sees that. And you can see instantly the Charon boosters or Charon boosters or Charon. I don't know how to say that, but Goliath range is on the way. A bunch of Goliaths being produced as well. He does have the +2 attack upgrade. He might be skipping the +1 armor because you just need every drop of gas that you can get. And while the armor upgrade is fantastic, you're actually going for a killing blow. This is not going to be a war of attrition from Scan. He is going to go for a kill in this game. If the game goes very long, that's going to mean that Motive ends up winning it because the carriers scale so strongly. Now, Scan's starting to move out. He has 8 siege tanks. Pretty healthy, pretty good count. Decent amount of Vultures, a few Goliaths so far. He definitely needs to get 8 to 12 Goliaths for this push. And he definitely does want a few more tanks if he can afford them. But he also has to go pretty quickly. You can't wait too long against this build. If you're on 3 bases with 3 gases, it plays out a bit differently. But yeah, in this type of very quick carrier situation, you are on a bit of a clock. Now, Motive moving his army around. This is the important thing, and this is why that cross spawn can be so difficult. Look at this. He's moved a lot of the goons up here. He can catch some reinforcements. Oh, this is tough. Notice, immediately Scan has to turn around. The goons trying to push forward. Now, will Motive turn and fight? Will he try to, like, run into the natural? I don't think that's a good play. And only having half of his army here. Okay, he is coming in with a flank, picking off a siege tank there. Oh, the mine's actually getting a good connection. Seems like Scan is doing a pretty good job of cleaning this up. Those goons didn't do what I think Motive intended with them. He does pick off some units in the back, and he's buying time, which is probably the most important aspect, more so than a few goons. But is he going to continue to be able to do that? His ground army has shrunk considerably. More Zealots and goons coming up. That 4th base is up now, but not a lot of probes in there as of yet. Do we have the Citadel? Yeah, okay, we do have the Citadel, but no legs yet. He needs to get that leg upgrade. It is so crucial for fighting against the slow Zealots. Just evaporate before they get there, whereas quick Zealots are going to do a fantastic job against the Goliath tank. All right, the Interceptors, this is just a trick to get them outside of the carriers so they launch quicker in their attacks. You can notice without those legs how weak these Zealots are, walking forward ever so slowly. But the army size of Scan is very low right now, so the Zealots are actually still tanking enough and dealing enough damage here that it is a devastating fight in a lot of ways. Look at that. A lot of Zealots, a Dragoon left. None of the carriers have died. In fact, barely taking hull damage, just one of them. Okay, some significant damage there. He does get a pick, but what do we have left for army for Scan? He needs some more tanks. Okay, he just popped 2 out, but he only has 2 tanks total, which means Dragoons are going to have huge value in future fights. Ooh, that was a quick move there, but does target it down. Trying to pick off any probes that he can. Vulture's going to be incredibly important right now. He's got to whittle down these unit sizes, or army sizes, rather. He's got to lay mines where he can, just kind of slow down Protoss while he tries to remake his army. Over here, we have Scan taking his 3rd gas. He is still sitting here on 7 factories, making an engineering bay. I thought he had an eBay before, but yeah, I guess he skipped that. He was really optimizing quite a bit. Oh, a big mine hit there, getting a lot of these probes. Very nice move indeed. Okay, so we do have the carriers coming back across. We have 5 carriers out right there. Another 2 have been started, but not too far along. The Vultures still being very powerful. Okay, buddy. All right, there you go. That is working, okay? Love you. Yeah, a little bit. Sorry, Joey. All right. please edit that out however you can. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Right, the Vultures are, yeah, they really are doing a great job. But you can see the mining of Motive is getting pretty scary. 68 probes is a really strong economy. He's got 3 gas. He's got a lot of mineral income. Finally, Scan will secure this additional gas. And, well, I mean, here's the main problem, I think, this game. The siege tank count getting reset by those slow zealots down here was just like a crucial moment to have to rebuild the tanks, right? So if you have 2 factories, every minute you're going to have 2 tanks, or every minute you're going to have 4 tanks. So you basically need 3 minutes to remake 12 tanks, right? That's a long time in StarCraft time. I know that sounds fast, but it's like it's taking a really long time for Scan to get back up to an army that can really fight here. I feel like as long as Motive goes pretty Dragoon heavy, it's going to punish the light siege tank count. See, we only have 6 tanks here, but honestly, Motive doesn't have that many goons. We have 10 goons there, a goon here, and mostly zealots coming out. So I do think that that's a little something. I think once you reset those siege tank counts, if you just focus on Dragoon production for a little bit, it's really... Dragoons just fight so well against Goliaths and Vultures, whereas Zealots have a terrible time. Okay, so the carrier's harassing at the natural here, trying to get the gas. Army coming in from the side. He is up 30 supply, but only 15 army-wise. So the army of Scan can still fight the army of Motive. It's just his economy is a little bit down. He's on the back foot. He's a little bit defensive here against the carriers, and that can be painful. A 6th carrier coming down to join. And I think at this point, you have to pretty much max out his Scan. We'll see if he moves out before that, but it's going to be hard to take a battle otherwise. Now, the ground army moving over towards his 3rd base, this is not something that Scan can lose. If he loses this base, the game ends. I keep looking over here. I keep seeing red on the minimaps, just those mines that aren't really impactful. But yeah, he's got to make sure to hold on to this location. Some nice sieging, pushing back the goons. Carriers, though, coming up to pick off what they can. Picks off a couple tanks very quickly. A 3rd tank ends up falling. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Motive right now is maxed out. And getting the Templar Archives, that is truly the final piece of the puzzle when you're going carrier, is to get into Psystorm. And generally, this is like a pretty good timing for it, I think, as well, because he's maxed out at this point. So it's like, well, you're going to start banking no matter what. So getting into Psystorm will be amazing. But right now, running down, trying to take an engagement, having a hard time getting around this little divot. It looks like the ground army will be mostly cleaned up. The Zealots actually splitting up and having a very good engage. The carrier's not falling as of yet. A lot of damage done to the Terran army, whereas the Protoss army, like, he lost the gateway units, and that's okay. That's like what you want to trade. You want to keep your carriers alive. If you can retain your carriers because they scale so well throughout the game, that's what's gaining you value. The ground army is just to make sure the carriers don't get overwhelmed by Goliaths. So that was a very good trade, I think, for Motive. And look, he's up 50 supply. He's flying over here with his carries. You can see how hard it is to defend. All these turrets being picked off in a matter of seconds. Goliaths trying to defend. They do have that +3 attack. +2 armor is almost done here now for Scan as well. But yeah, this is not looking super hot for him. He is running around with Vultures a little bit. Has a couple of siege tanks here. It really does feel like a losing battle, though, doesn't it? You can see Motive now with his 5 bases all kind of clustered together, getting ready to take an additional one up here as well. More cannons getting started up. I think that's a great move also. Just like spreading your bases out. It's going to be so difficult for any of these bases to really be picked off. And especially because we haven't been able to really max out as Scan. You know, he's never even regained his initial tank count that we had down here, killed by the slow Zealots. And against these carrier-based armies, you do want to have at least a whole group of 12 tanks. So we have 9 carriers. We have some Psystormers walking or floating across the map here. It's funny, they kind of look like they're floating because their feet don't walk, but mines still hit them. So explain that if you would. All right, some more turrets being made. I think this is going to be the last stand Yeah, here we go. It looks like Motive going to be running up here. Mine going off. Tank's coming down to try to help. GG is called, and Motive takes lead 1-0.